Issues that matter most to you. A closer look at current events, just the tip, special guests, and more. Welcome to Let's Have a Fefe, Arizona's longest-running drag live stream. Hosted by Felicia Fefe Minor and Freddy Prinze Charming. Streaming live on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share. Promotional consideration for Let's Have a Fefe provided by Wigs of a Kind, The Burly Barber, Bone and Basil, as well as our patrons at Patreon. Go to patreon.com/Let's Have a Fefe to become a Fefe patron. Virtual tips accepted at paypal.me/Let's Have a Fefe. Welcome to Let's Have a Fefe.
Hello, hello, hello.
I am having the
What is
worst
happening
internet
right
trouble
now?
ever.
Oh my god! Why?
What I
What is
want
happening right now?
y'all to know is that before we started the broadcast, I had green bars. Freddy had green bars. Now Freddy has green bars, and all I have is 2 little bars. So if I disappear at some point,
So it'll basically just be like last week where you were muted for a good chunk of the thing, and it's fine. Welcome to Let's Have a Fefe with me and only me.
I mean, this
Felicia
is
is now just
test.
here to look pretty, and I'm here to provide the content and actually, do the work. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
I mean, I actually did the show sheet this week, so
She
that's
did.
a step
She
up.
did.
This is episode 4. Are we on episode 4 already?
4 already. I know. We're moving right along.
Of season 10, and this is your Wednesday night conversation. If I get disconnected, I was Felicia Fefe Minor, and still, you are still Mr. I just want to change your title every week. How about we just change it to Mr. I'm just going to move the words around today. Mr. Classic US of A, am I?
Oh my God, my promoters are going to have a conniption. Yes, I am still Mr. US of A, am I Classic? Hopefully for only a little bit longer, as long as everything goes as planned. Yes, early April. So fingers crossed, everything should be good. Lord.
Yes. Well, I'm hoping. We're all hoping for you. It's been nice seeing some of the title holders who have held titles for like 3 years almost, kind of finally start to step down. So I hope you're next. I hope that you are next. Speaking of what's next, we'd like to thank our 18 Patreon supporters. We have Allison, Brandon, Cassandra, Drake, Jensen. Oh, that's Drake Jensen, one name. Casey Starr, Carrie and Corey, Kim, Joan, Jody, Leanne, Nicole, Patricia Mason, who stepped down. She was the one I was thinking about. She's been a title holder for a little bit. Sassy C. Diaz, Shelly, and Sky. And special thanks to our friends and supporters who take the deeper plunge, like Patricia Mason, Sky, Drake Jensen, and you could be taking the deeper plunge. I don't know why you haven't, but that's up to you.
Everybody likes it deep. I mean, I guess not everybody likes it that deep.
Apparently not everybody, because not everybody has jumped on board. And a special thanks to Joan of Bobbish Jewelry and Body Art. Did you see?
What art?
I'm not going to encourage you to go look, because I feel like purchases will be made out of your household. But it's okay, you know. And we also like to thank Guido Martin, Jeremy Bright of Ripple Phoenix. You can donate to us. We are not a 501c3, but we are charitable.
Man.
You can donate to us by going to paypal.me/let's have a Fefe. That's a lot. Oh, you can also
speaking
text blah blah blah, put it at the bottom.
Wow. Apparently it's that kind of night, folks. It's that kind of night. Fantastic. Speaking of Guido, I actually got to see him briefly on Saturday, which was nice.
Oh, really? Oh, you went to the Ren Faire.
Yes, we took the kids to the Ren Faire and we forced all of them to dress up.
All 8 of them.
All 473 children. We made them all dress up. And it was good. We threw together some garb for my partner. Luckily, you know, I happen to hoard things like costumes, so I had stuff that the boys could wear. That wasn't like, you know, embarrassing or whatever. So, you know, we made everybody dress up and we went and they had a grand old time. Like they really enjoyed it. I think they were kind of hesitant at first. They were like, I don't know. But I think in the end they ended up having like a really good
glowing.
And
am I glowy?
I don't think you're glowy. But not only did they have a good time, but by the end of it, they were already trying to think of like outfits to wear next year. So I think
they caught the bug. Oh, wonderful.
Like, you see what happens when you go with people that like know what they're doing? Just saying. Just saying. But Guido was there. He was, you know, doing his cardinal thing, holding confessions, all that fun stuff. And like everybody seemed really happy to be back. Like all the performers and stuff just seemed really happy to be back.
Of course.
After, you know,
they're like us when we first found out that we could go back.
No, seriously. But it was good. What did you do over the weekend? That was pretty much my entire weekend because Sunday I was completely wiped out.
Thursday I was home with the little one. She does not have COVID, but she had like a cold because daycares they like to exchange. Sharing is caring.
Gross.
So I stayed home with her on Thursday, and on Friday I went to get an eye exam. I can totally see.
Oh, that's
I'm
good.
Fine. I just need glasses for when I'm at the computer because I suffer from astigmatism in one eye and I give myself eye strain. I can't imagine why and how I do that.
No idea.
You're waiting for me to freeze again?
I'm waiting for her to get muted again, personally.
Wait, what?
That was the highlight of my week.
It'll happen, I'm sure. I think the internet's a little bit better. I may have or may not have paused some of the internet going to some of the family member devices. On Saturday, we trekked up to Lake Havasu City for the Arizona Pride Tour, benefiting the Girl Scouts of Southern Arizona, which they didn't bring Girl Scout cookies. I told them next time next time I'm on the stop, they better bring cookies.
What the fuck? Like who planned that? That just seems like poor planning. Like what kind of Girl Scouts would come to a thing and be like, look, here, we're gonna raise money for you. Oh, you're not even gonna bring me Girl Scout cookies? No, get the fuck out of here with that shit.
I thought that they would be like, oh, thanks for raising money for us. You know, like that would be the complimentary perk.
Like you would think, right?
I mean, we're raising money for you. But it's okay. It was a very big crowd, despite all the news of hatred being spread. Thank you for all that called, emailed, and made a fuss at Lake Havasu because they were very good on protecting people. We did have one incident where a lady fell out because she drank a lot. But
there's always that one. There's always that one.
I wish her well because she did get a little bit injured. But other than that, they were living their best life, and it was just a night of mayhem and wonderful, wonderful. The next stop is Flagstaff, but I will not be on that stop. I've had to explain myself like 3 to 4 times today that I will not be at the Flagstaff stop. I appreciate your enthusiasm. Yes, I am the auntie at the barbecue. But you can catch me at the Prescott stop on the 19th. 19th, yes, 19th, because you're going to Tucson. We're going opposite directions.
Right.
So yeah, that was my weekend, and here we are. Right back at it.
Is your week going really slow? Because mine's going really slow, but also like, I don't know if anybody else is having problems sleeping. Like I've talked to like half a dozen people who over the last few days or so, like they've really been having trouble sleeping, or they've just been generally tired. I think that like the fatigue.
Are you in retrograde?
Are we in retrograde? I don't know. I have no idea. All I know is that I wake up at like 3 o'clock in the morning almost every night, and I have problems going back to sleep, and it's just stupid. It's stupid. So
Scott's been having trouble sleeping, but not me, because I stay up way too late for me to be suffering from sleep deprivation. So by the time I get to sleep, it's like lights out. Like my body is like, okay, this has been too much.
And for me, like it's usually that, because like we don't usually stay up super late, like maybe 11ish, give or take, depending on what we're watching or whatever, how we're winding down. But like, I'm tired, so it's like I'll fall asleep.
What?
And then I wake up an hour later, and then I try to go back to sleep, and then I wake up at like 3 or 3:45, and then I can't fucking go back to sleep. Like it's fucking awful.
Okay,
and
so
I don't
we're not
know
in
what
retrograde, but who follows this? Gretchen, what could be the cause?
I don't know, but I don't like it. It's stupid. But anyway, so those of you that tuned in last week, we did our tip for last week was at Felicia's request, and I had already had something that I was going to do, but I hadn't really started it yet, so I was able to kind of switch. But, so I was able to do what you asked, as opposed to like doing.
I was like, we're gonna get into those.
I mean, we'll cover that.
Write that down. Write that down. We need to talk about that.
So I decided I was gonna do what I was gonna do last year, but I'll do it this week. So it's gonna be, I don't know about deep so much as actually like legitimately informative. So
is this one of the ones where I just sit back and listen to you? Because
it might be, but it might also be helpful. So it actually might be helpful to quite a few people that are going to end up watching this. So tonight I'm going to talk about attachment styles.
Gretchen's talking to you.
I don't have any lemon balm. What am I supposed to do with lemon balm?
Gretchen, you're gonna have to stop by both of our houses.
What am I supposed to do with lemon balm? Oh my God. I rub it on something? Do I eat it? What do I do with lemon balm? Anyway, so I'm gonna talk about the different types of attachment styles. So there's 2 kind of umbrellas when it comes to attachment styles. There's secure, and then there's insecure, and there's different types of insecure attachment styles. Now, most people are like, oh, I totally have a secure attachment style. Like, I'm fine. Like, I'm good.
Do people call it that, though?
A secure attachment style, if they know the terminology, they do. But the thing is that as much as we all seem to think that we have a secure attachment style, I can almost guarantee you that very few of us actually do. And that's because most attachment styles stem from early childhood experiences, and can actually, and even into, adulthood and young adulthood, it develops into secure or insecure in adulthood. And, things like relationship trauma, whether it's talking about parental relationships or whether it's talking about romantic relationships, whatever, relationship traumas can have an absolute effect on attachment styles. But understanding attachment styles is key when it comes to actually understanding your partner, and when it comes to communicating and understanding where your partner's head is at. So when we talk about secure attachment as an adult, so people with a secure attachment style, they have a very healthy sense of self, and they see themselves and their partners in a positive light. So they're like, they're able to ask for what they need, and they know that generally that need is going to be met. And that seems very basic, but how many people do you know? How many people in your life? How many friends do we have that struggle when it comes to asking for help or asking for what they need? I don't know about you, but I know a fuck ton of people that won't ask for anything until it's like too late.
Me being one of them, though.
They're able to be more flexible if their partners are unable to meet certain needs. They're comfortable hearing no, and they're able to wait to have their needs met at a later time, or they're able to find alternative ways to having their attachment needs met without disrupting the foundation of the relationship. So it's like, if you were to say to your partner, oh, hey, I would need, I need some quality time with you, this evening or whatever. And your partner's like, I can't this evening. I have this going on at work, but, we can do it tomorrow, or, would later this evening work? And if you have a secure attachment, you're like, oh yeah, that's totally fine. Your brain doesn't automatically go, oh my God, everything's falling apart. So you're fine with that. Securely functioning adults feel worthy of love. They're comfortable with intimacy, and they experience relational object constancy, which is maintaining an emotional bond even when you're separated from your partners, whatever. Which, how many people do you know don't feel like they're worthy of receiving love, or worthy of having a healthy relationship, or you know what I mean? Like,
I would say that in the beginning of our relationship, not our friendship, but my marriage, I was very insecure, and it was because of all the things that you had just described. Growing up, my mother was the nurturing one, but my father was the one that distanced himself. Also was the one that verbally was not affirming to anything. Not maybe there was like one time when you would hear like encouraging words, and then you would be like, "I need love."
So I'm pretty sure you'll be able to relate to one of the insecure styles. I will happily admit which one of them is very much mine. But so some things that a securely attached person may say are things like, I find it easy to make emotional connections with others. I'm not really worried about being abandoned or about someone getting too close, because people have both fears. I'm aware and accepting of my partner's strengths and shortcomings, and I treat them with love and respect. And during a conflict or disagreement, I'm able to take responsibility for my part, apologize when it's needed, clear up misunderstandings, problem solve, and forgive when needed. Like, those are all very healthy things that people that are securely attached are able to do. They're able to say. Those are some of the things that go through some of their heads. Now, that's all well and good. And I'm pretty sure that there are a lot of people that in their mind, they're like, oh, I totally do all of those things.
I will be the first to say no.
Okay, so now we're going to get into the insecure attachment styles. And like I said, I will tell you which one is mine. I'll see if you can figure out which one is mine, but I will happily tell you which one is mine at the end of it. So
I don't want to guess. I don't want you to be mad at me.
So there are 3 types of insecure attachment styles. One of them is dismissive. Dismissive people tend to keep folks at an arm's length. They pride themselves on they don't need anyone. They tend to be overly self-reliant, hyper independent. They can present as having a very high self-esteem, but they can also project unwanted traits onto others. So things that you don't like, that you don't like about yourself, you can totally just project that onto somebody else. They find it difficult to be open and vulnerable with people because they have that wall up. And when you have that wall up, like I think we've all been with people like that. We all know people like that. Some of the things, some things that a person with dismissive attachment style might say are things like, my autonomy, my independence, and my self-sufficiency are very important to me. Like that's they don't need anybody. They just need themselves. They don't need anybody else. I prefer not to share my feelings or show a partner how I feel deep down. So it's very, very kind of surface level. They won't get into deep, meaningful conversations. They don't want to hear it.
You right.
They just, it's not, they can't open up. I feel uncomfortable relying on partners and having partners rely on me. So I just want to, do their thing. I don't want to depend on anybody, but I also don't really want anybody to depend on me because that could be, that means I have to do things. And that means I actually I don't know about that. I frequently don't know what I'm feeling or needing, or I can miss cues from others about how they are feeling or what they're needing. Are you taking notes, Felicia?
I'm not saying a word.
Cassandra, I guarantee you, we all know people that fit into these. And most of the folks that we know aren't going to fit into the secure attachment style. Believe me.
Some of these are
during
like mutuals.
Or conflict, I tend to withdraw, shut down, shut out, or stonewall. So they just they just done. Another insecure attachment style is the preoccupied attachment style. And so keep in mind that so when it comes to attachment styles, they're not a be all end all. They can change, they can fluctuate. They can
sometimes you
develop
spend 10 years trying to fix them.
So with the preoccupied attachment style, these folks are super focused and super concerned about the level of closeness of their relationship. They become hyper focused on their partners. They may monitor level of availability, interest, responsiveness. So, they just, for example, say they go in and, they kiss someone, they kiss their partner, good morning or whatever. And maybe their partner is busy. So they don't have that immediate and immediately they're like, oh my God, they didn't kiss me like this yesterday. What's wrong? What could be wrong? Are they going to go? So they're, oh my God, they didn't touch my butt the same way that they did before. Like everything's going. So they may come across as controlling, but in their mind, they're not controlling. They just have a constant fear of being left. And I know that for a while when I was younger, this was very much part of my thing. That's why you do things like put up with people that cheat on you for 3 years and, abusive relationships for 5 years. And because it's you do these things because you just are afraid of somebody leaving you. They are constantly grasping at a relationship that they're afraid may slip out of their hands. They may experience a loss of self. They're consumed by thoughts of abandonment, and they may give up their own needs and identity to ensure proximity and relationship security. How many times did Felicia, you saw it. How many times did I bow out of shit in certain relationships because, someone wasn't okay with it. Right. They're people pleasers. So they're not good at boundaries. They will allow people to overstep their boundaries. They will allow people to push their boundaries because they just want their partner to be happy, whatever that means. They may question whether they are worthy of love. I think I use this term with a few of my exes, people but they're the folks that are like, I call them vine swingers. So they won't let go of this relationship until they have a firm grasp on this relationship.
Oh, what are we switching jobs?
So it's like they bond really quickly. They don't like being alone. So rather than...
we know a lot of people like this.
So rather than letting this person go and, being single and really kind of figuring out who you are before you get into the next relationship, they're so afraid of being alone that they have a hand on each vine. And then they'll let go of this one, but only when they have a firm grasp on this vine. I call them vine swingers. Things that someone with a preoccupied attachment style might say are things like, I often worry about being abandoned, rejected, or not valued enough. I tend to over-focus on my partners and under-focus on myself. So of things that you give up for your partner just because your partner says that either they don't want to do it or they don't want to go with you or that's not their thing. So you start to lose parts of yourself. I need a lot of reassurance that I am loved or desired, but I also have trouble receiving or believing it. I tend to commit to relationships and get attached very quickly. And I get resentful or take it personally when a partner spends time away from me.
U-Haul.
So, just because like you don't like any sort of autonomy in your relationship, you want to be with your friends, your partners and their friends, and you have to, like, everything has to be done together. Those couples have to be done. Everything has to be done together. You can't, God forbid, you do something by yourself or separately.
Sorry.
Wait, Cassandra, we're not done yet. There's one more. So, and the last one is a fearful avoidant attachment style.
Oh, I skipped ahead.
So the fearful avoidant fears both being too close or too far away from their partners. So they don't want to be like super apart, but they also get very nervous when you start getting very close and very intimate. They have the desire and the longing for closeness and connection, but have experience of being hurt in the past, so they can be uncomfortable when it comes to relying on others and worry that when they're speaking their feelings or when they bring up their thoughts, their feelings and their needs, it could be detrimental. It could be dangerous to the relationship. So they tend to stay more quiet and they don't often speak freely about their things. They're just like, no, it's fine. They may request attention, but then withdraw when that attention is given.
Ooh.
They have a tendency for emotional flare-ups, which they can be easily overwhelmed by their feelings. And intense emotional states can take over, which can disrupt their ability to function. And sometimes they can take others down with them. So if they're going, if they all of a sudden just start getting all anxious about shit, then it affects everybody. Due to their history of trauma, and that can be any sort of relationship trauma, that can be anything from cheating to abuse to whatever. Their sense of self and their trust in others have been damaged. they struggle with that. They struggle with their sense of self, and they struggle with being able to trust. They see themselves as broken, and they see others as untrustworthy. This type of attachment style can often and sometimes be associated with high relationship turmoil, dissatisfaction and toxicity, self-destructive behaviors, abuse, mental illness, and addictions, because there's so much yo-yoing and everything going back and forth. Things that someone with fearful avoidant attachment style might say are things like, I often don't feel safe or fully trusting in relationships, even if my partner hasn't given me a reason to mistrust them. Even if my partner acts in safe and trustworthy ways, I'm still waiting. Like I frequently get triggered by things that may seem to come out of nowhere. When in conflict, I can flip-flop between being completely overwhelmed and aggressive to being completely dismissive and numb. And when in distress, I've acted in ways that have been harmful to myself or my partners. And I expect the worst in relationships, even if things are going well. So you're always waiting around for the shoe to drop, because that's what you're used to, because that is what your relationship trauma has told you is going to happen. So any guesses? Which one is mine? So there's the dismissive, there's the preoccupied or anxious, and the fearful avoidant.
Well, I know. So for me,
okay, yeah, I know you know. You shush.
Oh. Let's see. I shouldn't be able to guess either. I want other people to guess. I'm very much.
I'm curious. I'm curious what everyone thinks my attachment style is. I'll give you a hint. It's definitely not secure. I will tell you that right now. I'm working towards it, but it's definitely not secure. So it's one of the other three
half
insecure
anxious
ones.
And half fearful. Oh, that's Cassandra guessing on herself. I want to say fearful avoidant because of said history.
Absolutely. Absolutely. My attachment style is definitely fearful avoidant. It comes from anybody that knows my relationship history knows that it's full of all sorts of bullshit. And even going back, like to my childhood, all the things, like anybody that knows anything knows that when it comes to trusting people, I'm terrible at it. Terrible. And if you do one thing that could break that trust, I don't know how to get it back, and it fucks me up. Now, the thing that again you have to remember is that attachment styles are not set in stone. You don't get handed a card. Here's your attachment style. Thank you very much. Have a nice day. They can evolve and they can change, and they're not a concrete identity. They, and the thing is with the insecure attachment styles is they can become secure with self-work and therapy and things like that. And anybody knows, we've talked about it, like both Felicia and I absolutely recommend and advocate for therapy, whether it's individual, couples, whatever.
Like, all your partners.
It is important. Like it, because especially once you kind of, if you understand what your attachment style is, it'll help you, first of all, because it's like an aha moment. It's like, oh,
are we?
Oh my God, that's why. Like, I get it. But
so, answer this right here. Before you jump the ship, ask the question.
Correct.
I learned that a long time ago because sometimes you jump ship and then the therapist is like, well, I thought that you were here for something else, but I mean, communication is an odd form that sometimes we need to shift to where we need to be, because the therapist is only a guide. Only a guide until, I mean, they're trying to, fix this one thing that you mentioned. Maybe you mentioned 3 things, but it's a guide every time. So if you feel that that's something you need to work on, it's just like when you go to the doctor and you have a cough. They don't know what the cough is,
Right.
but you have
So
to
they
tell them how it feels and what
Right.
it, because they can't feel for you.
Therapists can't read your mind.
Yeah.
Like they can't. Like they're there to
Often
help. And
confused with
granted,
psychics.
some are definitely better than others for sure. But if you ask the right questions, most should be familiar with the different types of attachment styles. They may have different terms for them. They may, right, a lot of therapists may not use the terms, but they describe and guide. It's the same thing, and the a lot of what we deal with does come from our childhood. Like, even if you don't think that you've had trauma, there's a good chance that once you start doing a little bit of digging, and once you have a neutral party that's like, whoa, 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 no, what you just described, that is absolutely trauma. Like,
Yes.
that, you may not think about it, and then you're like, oh, fuck, that's totally trauma.
Yeah.
But knowing and understanding your own attachment style, it helps with the self-work, and knowing and understanding your partner's attachment style can be helpful when there is conflict or when problems do arise, because it can be like, all right, well, if you know that I'm fearful avoidant, that if I kind of shut down, I'm not trying to avoid talking. I'm like, I sometimes it's like I just need a minute. But you also know that it can, it I have a lot of shit. Like, I got a lot of baggage. I do. And, I've been to therapy and I do things, but every once in a while things rear up and I'm like, God damn it, I thought I fucking dealt with this. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and
I
it's
almost think
shitty,
it's a
but
healthy practice to keep going even when you feel that you don't need therapy anymore. Because sometimes it's good to talk not just about the traumas. It's good to talk about the successes in your life, talk about the things that are helping and guiding you into a new phase of your life. Because I stopped going for a little bit, and then I realized that I was just doing this cycle of, I was going when I felt like things were, instead of celebrating because I have a huge thing about not loving myself. It took me years, as we've talked about before. But every once in a while, that demon arises and it goes right back in, and it says, no, we're not gonna love ourselves today. And then it continues, and then I get worried because I'm like, well, I thought I got over this. But I am one that gets very preoccupied. I don't know if you've ever noticed, but but I am, and often this is called workaholicism. And I am a people pleaser as well. And so often those two things overlap. And so I'm trying to please people. I'm trying to work as hard as I can. But at the same time, I'm avoiding any feeling, any emotion. And I just want to work on whatever I'm working on. And I become like that. And sometimes I get trapped in it.
So I highly recommend, there's a book called Polysecure, by Jessica Fern. I highly recommend reading it. Even if you're not poly, like, it's about how to be, secure and whatever in a polyamorous relationship. But even if you're not poly, I highly recommend reading it, because she talks about, She talks about relationship trauma. She talks about attachment styles. She talks about, all of those things, the things that you need to feel secure within your relationship. And even if you're not poly, I highly recommend picking up the book. If you can find it either at Bookman's or whatever. Brene Brown is another good one. I got my partner the Atlas of the Heart for Christmas. That's a good one. Brene Brown has some very, very good books. So I would recommend reading some Brene Brown. I would recommend picking up Polysecure. I'll put it in the chat.
She was on Oprah's book club.
Brene Brown?
Yeah. And she has her own podcast on Spotify. I don't know if it's available else, but yes. Alex, what is Alex's last name? Alex, I never know how to say it. But I follow them on Instagram, and I have one of their books. So, but there's so many things, but I recommend go with what works for you. Try a combination of all of them. I definitely want to say stay away from self-medicating when you know that your emotions and your mental health are in jeopardy. So, that was very good. Because I was thinking of several people that we know mutually.
And that's the thing is that, I mean, we all have a tendency when relationships don't work out, like we usually take one of two extremes. Either it was all their fault, every person I've ever been with, it's all their fault. I've never done anything wrong. It's always them. They always fuck up. Or we become completely self-deprecating and we're like, oh my God, everything I touch turns to shit. It's all my fault. It's always my fault. I always fuck up. It's never okay, well, they weren't great. I did some things that weren't great. And it's one of these things that just kind of happen. Like we usually just go to one extreme or the other. And it's usually never that. It's usually a combination of all of it. But I highly recommend, even if you don't have to go to therapy every week. You know what I mean? You don't even necessarily have to go every month. I would recommend just finding a therapist that you like. And even if you don't have any problems right now, per se, it's one of these things where you can go and be like, look, I need to make sure that I have somebody that I can talk to that is an impartial party, that isn't going to judge, that isn't going to, run me into the ground, and that's going to give me an objective opinion and possibly some advice and some direction. And it's really easy to be able to do that. Let's see. I know we're starting to, I knew that was gonna be a while, but
it's okay. Cassandra, yes, do your homework. Don't go in attack mode, which I learned a couple years ago. Don't go in attack mode because you are the patient. We still have to think this way. The therapist is still the doctor, and we are still the patient. They can't feel what we feel. They can't hear what's going on in here, and they can't feel for you. So just don't go in attack mode. Go there with open heart, open arms, and ask questions.
And one of the big things when it comes to therapy is you have to be honest with them and with yourself. If you go in there and you just try to blow smoke up their ass, because I know people that do this, and I know people that go to therapy, and I'm like, what are you even doing? Because you're not being honest with them. Like, you're not. And if you're not being honest with them, and if you're not being honest with yourself, therapy isn't going to do you a damn bit of good. It's like having people around you that are just like, oh my God, yes, you're so hot. Oh my God,
you're the hottest thing ever.
Not going to help you.
I will say that I was doing this for a little bit because I thought, well, because what we all have to figure out is how to put the ego to sleep. Once the ego goes away, what do we look like? Plain as day, open book, to the outside world. What do we look like? What do we look like to ourselves, without that ego being in the way?
Right.
No, you don't have to stop.
No, that's fine. You can just keep saying it's fine.
You're fine.
Do we want to, since we're kind of down on a little bit of things, do we want to do our Black History Month with our queer trail.
Yes, but I did not get the pictures up on the screen. I ran a little bit.
I put the links on there.
I don't have that computer with the document.
Oh my God.
Of course I don't. Hold on. Let's see if I can find it. I can't find
that. Literally one job.
I know.
So if you tuned in last week,
you
knew I will. Yeah. If you tuned in last week, you heard that I decided because I was doing the show sheet, so whatever.
You're welcome.
That for each week this month, each Wednesday, we were going to do we were going to talk about a total of 16 queer Black trailblazers. So we're going to do 4 each week. So last week we did 4, and this week we're going to do another 4. We'll see if Felicia. We actually have pictures this week. I made sure to put links up. That was my bad last week. I should have, put pictures up, but I didn't. I wasn't thinking about it. So
I mean, you were doing the show by yourself. It's fine.
I was. Let's be real. I was essentially. You haven't been muted this week, so that's a plus. Okay, so
let's see. Hold on. Yeah, go ahead, because I'm gonna get this in order.
So then, first up on our roster this evening is Lorraine Hansberry. She is best known for her play A Raisin in the Sun, which I believe was turned into a movie? I think it might have been. I'm trying to remember.
It sounds like a movie.
She was the first Black playwright and youngest American to win a New York Critics Circle Award. Almost. Oh, there we go. A Raisin in the Sun was the first play written by an African American woman to be produced on Broadway, which was super cool. And the interesting thing is that she never publicly acknowledged that she was a lesbian, even though she was a member of lesbian rights groups and things like that throughout her life. She didn't officially come out until almost 50 years after her death, when her letters and journals and things were made public, and her letters and her journals were actually what revealed her sexuality.
Oh, wow.
And she died relatively young. I believe she was only in her mid-30s when she died. Cancer, of course, because what else? I know. But I think it's the fact that she never actually publicly came out until like after she died. I thought that was interesting. But yeah, fascinating. See, you learn things. We're educational here. Do you want to do the next one? You just want? Are you?
Yeah. Hold on. You have to give me a moment. I can't do all of the things.
Why?
Alvin Ailey, right? Ailey.
Mm-hmm, I believe so. Yeah.
Was a choreographer who founded the Alvin Ailey American Dance Theater. What does this say?
Posthumously. So
okay,
after
great.
he died, you're welcome.
I was just going to say after he died, was awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom for bringing dance to undeserved communities.
Not undeserved, underserved.
Underserved.
Everybody deserves dance, Felicia. Everybody deserves dance.
It was an episode of Flashdance. I'm so sorry.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, let me get the other one ready.
Next up we have Audrey Lorde. She was a self-described Black lesbian feminist mother, poet, and warrior. She made contributions through her writings in the fields of feminist theory, critical race studies, and queer theory. A famous quote from her is, "I write for those women who do not speak, for those who do not have a voice, because they were so terrified, because we are taught to respect fear more than ourselves."
Amen.
She wrote what is the name of that? God, is it Beloved?
I should know this.
What did she write? I know she. Oh, she was a
Poems.
poet.
She was a poet. Foundation. What's going on here? I don't see that.
I could have sworn, was it not? Oh my goodness. I have a couple of her books
The
on my
Black
shelf.
Unicorn.
I just can't see them off the head. There's the Black Unicorn,
you
which
blind?
is a collection of poems. I
think I know what you're talking about, but I don't. Oh, let's see. The 5 best books Oprah recommends to read from her are Sister Outsider, Essays and Speeches, The Collected Poems. I always say names wrong, so I'm sorry. Sammy, A New Spelling of My Name, a biomythography. I've never heard of that. The Cancer Journals, and the last one that Oprah recommends, I think,
I know I've got one of her
A Burst of Light.
I know I've got one of her books
and
of
other
poetry on my
essays.
shelf. I can't remember which one off the top of my head. I think I have Zammy. And another one as well. All right.
Yeah.
And one more.
I wasn't ready for you. It doesn't get bigger than that?
I don't know. It showed up
like the whole.
I was like, it showed up like it's a big thing on my screen when I don't know. Here we go.
Is this me?
Yes.
Yes, because you just read the last one.
Correct. Yes. Very good.
Ernestine Eckstein, right?
Mm-hmm.
A leader in the New York chapter of Daughters of Bilitis. The first lesbian civil and political rights organization in the United States. She was the only Black woman to present at early LGBTQ
you might want to repeat that. You cut out on my side.
Only Black woman.
There you go.
She was the only Black woman to present at early LGBTQ protests and was an early in the Black feminist movement of the 1970s. She viewed the fight for LGBTQ and civil rights as
intrinsically
big words.
I'm sorry.
You know I can't read.
I'm trying to improve everybody's vocabulary. My bad. Intrinsically.
Intrinsically. I can really read. I just but she realized that they were closely linked since we have to put big words and can't leave little Fefe words in there.
I'm sorry. Next time I'll make sure that everything just has like maybe 1 syllable, 2 at the most.
Oh my God, 2.
I know, it's difficult.
Yes. And that is
so next week we'll have another 4 queer Black folks to talk about with pictures and stuff too.
Oh, maybe I can put some of my favorites down. Put them in there. When am I gonna find the time?
It's fine. I already have them all lined up, so I'll just take care of it.
Oh, okay, great. You're doing such a great job.
Thanks so much. Does this mean I get a raise?
Let's have a Freddy. That's what.
We're changing the name, folks. Everything's going to be changed. All the marketing.
It's fine. It's fine.
We'll just add an R. It'll be let's have a free. Just add an R.
Picture that going over well for you. I don't picture that going well for you. I don't picture that going well for you.
One of these days, I'm gonna like do this by myself because you won't like
you have
for some reason.
Times.
I know, but you won't be able to be here or something. So I'm gonna have to take our logo and I'm gonna like just draw an R in there so that I'm just gonna. That's what it'll be. Oh my God,
Lord,
you're welcome.
So, if you live in Florida, if you live in Arizona, I didn't put the Arizona one on here. I should have. You need to be looking at the legislative bills, House bills, that are going to the House floor and the Senate floors because they have been pushed through. In Arizona, what are we banning? Banning that trans children cannot get gender-affirming surgeries. I'll say that again. In Arizona, they're trying to ban trans youth from getting gender-affirming.
To be clear, generally, they're not going to do any surgeries on kids anyway.
Well, and this includes, thank you for that, but this includes them starting hormone.
Right. It's gender affirming healthcare in general. So hormone blockers,
yes,
hormones.
But in the bill, it like starts out like they have gender affirming surgery and weirdness and blah blah blah.
No one's going to do gender affirming fucking surgeries on a kid, guys. It's not gonna happen.
Oh, good. I'm so glad. Oh, I got
Jesus
so many
fucking
emails
Christ.
about that today.
Like,
and otherwise, in Florida, this did pass committee.
Of course.
In Florida, the Senate committee passed the "Don't Say Gay" bill that would bar LGBTQ plus discussions in schools. So it's not just history anymore. It's in general. We can't talk about being gay. We can't talk about being a lesbian. We can't talk about being trans. None. No bisexualisms. So I just want you all to be aware that I believe that Arizona tried to have like 21. Is that right? Somebody correct me. I'm trying to go off the top of my head, but I'll find. But there are things when people say I don't have to vote when it's not a presidential year. I want you to think about, and I've said this before, I want you to think about the people that vote for these bills. And I'm so serious. You can see who votes for them. So go and look and see if you recognize any of the names for the people that you may have voted for. And
voting for like in like local elections and stuff is almost more important than the presidential stuff, because it's the smaller elections, it's the local politicians that are going to directly affect you. And we've said this before.
Absolutely. And so as November or whatever the midterm elections or whatever come up, just be aware that things like this, like your mayor may be one of the people that's like, oh, I love this idea. Girl, you voted for him. So you can't complain.
Yep.
In COVID news, I don't think I updated the numbers on that.
I did.
But California. Oh, you did? Okay. California is set to release mask mandates on February 15th, but LA County, being one of the largest and probably more they're all over the place. Ill. And they have a huge homeless population, has said, nope, we're not doing that. In Canada, I don't know if you guys, the truckers have begun protesting because the prime minister, they call him prime ministers, right?
Yes, Trudeau.
The gorgeous man himself. Oh, he's so gorgeous. Anyway, he said that truck drivers have to be vaccinated. Truck drivers have now since retaliated and created a blockade to the Capitol and to the U.S.-Canadian border. So, if you're in Canada right now and watching us because you're trying to get back to the U.S., I'm so sorry, but it's truckers that don't want the nation, so they're blocking your way. And the world hit 500,000 cases since the outbreak of Omicron.
Yay.
That was
so, and in Arizona, we only had about 5,400 new cases today. Only reported today. Only about 5,400 new cases.
You mean not last week? Today. Yikes.
Reported today, 5,400 new cases. We're still at a 12.4 positivity rate, y'all. That's not good. We are, because last week we had a little over 1.8 million cases total. We are at about 1.9 million cases, so we've gone up about 70,000 cases total in the last week. And we are at 26,856 deaths in Arizona. Go us. We're awesome.
Still up there. We're still leading in some cases.
What gigs have we got coming up? We got a lot of shit happening. Lord.
So that's a lot of you and a lot of me.
Actually, most of this, let's be real, most of this is you.
I did say I was a workaholic. So if you ever send me a message that says, I have not seen you at a show, you're a fucking liar. You've had every opportunity. In the summer, I'm probably going to go into hibernation. That's usually how this works. I go into like, when it's cool, I go into like very hyper mode, and then when it's hot, nope. Is that a show during the day?
Right, during the summer, you'll find me like just floating in my pool at this point.
Oh, I might have to join you for that. So on Saturday, we'll be at Gracie's for Just the Tip Sex Trivia Night. Show up at 8 o'clock. It's free to play and free to win. But you have a chance to win. You don't just win. It doesn't happen that way.
You have to win shit in order to win shit.
Yeah. So that's always fun. It starts at 8 p.m. For sign up, and 8:30 is when we start the game. And then on the 18th, we have Drag Bingo and Cats at La Gattara, which I probably need to go back and check numbers, but y'all, don't send me messages on Friday the 18th and ask me where can you buy tickets, because this is never usually what happens.
Yeah. Yep.
It usually sells out, and then y'all are on that Monday or that Tuesday like, I went to go buy tickets. No.
We tell you it sells out.
Day of.
Not gonna happen.
So, safety, and for other safety, we're kind of limiting the numbers so that we're not being unsafe, because it's not a huge venue. On the 19th, Freddy is in town for the Drag Story Hour Arizona fundraiser and 3rd birthday party.
Mm-hmm. It'll be a good time. We've got some good entertainers. We've got some fun like raffle baskets and stuff.
Can I do a raffle and not be there?
Do you want to buy a raffle ticket? What?
Yes.
Or do you? Oh.
Yes.
No.
Oh my god!
Unless you want to give me money. If you want to give me money, I'll buy you raffle tickets. But then if you win,
give you money,
I get the prize because I have to do the work.
Oh, fuck you! No, that's not how this is working. I'll talk to Michelle. Thank you. Thank you. Can you transfer me to the supervisor? Thank you.
I am the manager, bitch. What?
And then on that same day, on the 19th, I will be in Prescott for the Arizona Pride Tour. And we ask that you call the mayor, the sheriff, and all of the peoples in Prescott because they're being rude as hell too.
Of course they are.
This is so weird. Don't y'all think it's weird? Like, gay people aren't new.
Prescott's weird pretty conservative though. Like, they're the ones that had a bunch of like anti-mask shit. Like, Prescott's pretty conservative. So
I have a sign that says I'm the manager now.
She does. She has a sign on her door at her new job that says manager. So she's literally the manager. Oh. It's fine. And then February 20th is the Three Fates review show at C7. We've only got general admission tickets left. All the VIP and all the second tier tickets have all been sold out, which is fantastic. So if you want to go, you still have a chance, but it's going to be general admission because you're slow.
Why is she speaking like Yoda?
I don't just keep moving. Just keep moving. We're just
then February 20th, like the same days. And then I have a brunch on February 20th at Industry.
It's fine. You can go to the brunch and then you can go to C7.
But I'm not working.
Not you.
I'm coming down.
People, other people. You don't have Yoda. No, you have Baby Yoda, and he's not even Baby Yoda. He's just the same species.
Oh, this is getting
my God,
Star Wars conversation.
All the things.
And then Miss Gay Supernova US of A.
You just missed over a whole bunch of shit. So on February 25th, I'm actually in Arkansas.
I'm trying to be done.
I'm in Arkansas. There's one more prelim that's happening for US of A. So I get to do a really quick turnaround. I'm going to be exhausted. I'm actually leaving on Thursday instead of Friday. So now, I don't have to worry about my partner having to get up early and take me to the fucking thing. I'll just do it my damn self on Thursday. It's fine. It's fine.
Oh, you mean you have to leave your car in the lot?
No, ew, I wouldn't do that. I don't trust people. Fuck that. I'm not paying for parking. Fucking Uber.
Oh my gosh. And then on the 27th, I have another brunch. And then I have Miss Gay Supernova. And then I have Magic. 3 times in one day, you can come see me.
That's a lot. I would just pick one, honestly. I don't know that I would do all 3 of those. I feel like you should just pick one.
If you want to, I'm here for all of it.
That's a lot of Felicia in one day. I would pick one. It's probably better off that way.
And I usually don't perform the same thing at all 3 of the things. It's terrible for me, but it's great for you. Let's see. March 5th. 19th and the 26th, different places in Arizona for the Arizona Pride Tour. That's a lot. I'm gonna be dead by the end of this.
I'll be fine because somebody asked me to be in the Pride Tour, so it's fine.
Here we go. That would have been fun if we had an ass together.
Yeah, that's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
And then I had to start booking guests. I wanted to do that last week, but on Sunday I came home and I was like,
We'll get guests. I think we've been doing all right by ourselves for the first few. Like, we're trying to get back into the swing of things anyway, so I think we're doing all right.
Yes. There are some people chomping at the bits, but oh well, they'll be fine.
They'll get over it.
I'm playing with my hair, and that's usually a sign that I need to get up.
Same.
Thank you for being here. Thank you for joining the Wednesday night conversation. If you like this episode, share it with a friend. Even better, if you didn't like it, share it with an enemy. I said that. Thank you all for watching live and watching on the replay. We'll see you next week for your Wednesday night conversation. And my mouse disappeared. Whoa.
Hey, but at
it
least
wouldn't be a show if something
we stayed on the whole
wrong.
time. You didn't get muted, unfortunately, but everything else worked great. Like, look at that.
Unfortunately, excuse
what?
you.
I'm sorry. What? I didn't hear that.
I'm turning this off. Bye.
It's your Wednesday night conversation. It's more than just the gossip. It's the issues that matter. Promotional consideration for Let's Have a Fefe provided by Wigs of a Kind, The Burly Barber, Bone and Basil, as well as our patrons at Patreon. Go to patreon.com/Let's Have a Fefe to become a Fefe patron. Virtual tips accepted at paypal.me/Let's Have a Fefe. Subscribe to the Let's Have a Fefe podcast. You can listen on your favorite podcatcher. See you next week for your Wednesday night conversation. This has been Let's Have a Fefe. Good night.